Hello. Oh, we are live. I don't know if people can see
Woo, woo,
us.
woo. Hopefully,
Can
or else we're just in the void, talking to
uh,
ourselves again.
how are you, Kayla? Oh, there you go. He can hear us. How are you?
Yay! Okay, welcome, welcome. I'm doing well. I've been researching a lot, editing a lot this week. I should have a new video come out on my channel, on the Kia's World channel. I'm very excited about, and I'm trying to get all the research correct because it deals with brain health. So I'm trying not to screw that up, ironically enough.
Oh, you have a sponsorship?
No, no.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
criticizing brain
Oh,
health specifically, and you've probably seen it before through Rachel Hollis's YouTube. But the people who go to get brain scans from this doctor, Dr. Amen, out in LA, and it's like very sketchy science. So that's what I'm working on this week.
I like a good video about a medical quack, I guess.
Yes,
Just be
yes, yes.
careful with your wording because I got sued for that. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm slightly nervous. That's why I'm trying to like make sure I say everything correctly. So I've been writing the script for like a week essentially, just making sure I credit everything where credit is due. So I should have no issues. Fingers crossed.
you're
What
a
have you
lot
been
more
up to?
than me. I can't possibly spend a week on a script. I'm just too impatient. I just tend to be
Yeah.
like, oh my God, something's happened. And I basically just go into this mania for like
I
12
know.
hours.
I feel you. That's how I was with Pancake Gate. When that happened, I couldn't wait. I was like, okay. I saw the live, and I was like, I need to get on the computer right now and start working on this. Otherwise, it's gonna pass. So I feel it. I feel you.
So I had a situation that I talked about just, was it 2 days ago? Yesterday or 2 days ago on my channel.
Mm.
Um, 2 days ago. Basically, with my previous friend, Crypto Art, who, I don't know if you know this, but I don't know because I don't think we knew each other at the time.
Mm-mm.
But um, when I was friends with her, I started well, now looking back, obviously that was not a friend,
It's
but
complicated.
yeah, it's complicated. But basically, we were friends since like the end of 2020, and then in early 2021, I started getting these threats that I was going to get sued by Marissa
Oh.
Peer. So
Mm.
I remember when I got the lawsuit, when I got served, I basically was just sending a message to. I was talking through messages with her, and I messaged her, and I was like, "Oh my god, you just won't believe this! I just got served with a lawsuit." And she was like, "What the fuck?" And she was like, "Okay, you should do a fundraiser and raise funds to defend yourself." So I was like, "This is a brilliant idea. Yeah, definitely." So I did that,
Yeah.
and then she donated money to my fund. This is not something I asked for. Obviously, I was happy because that was the point of the
The
fundraiser.
whole point. Yeah.
But she donated like £1,000 to it, and then basically, yeah, I think she shared it on her community tab. Anyways, like she was really nice about it. She definitely did more. Like, first of all, it was her idea that I do the fundraiser.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think of that. So I definitely was. I just felt like it was a larger creator who kind of, I don't know if she had been in situations like that before, but whatever. It felt like I had something
Probably.
to, yeah. Now I'm
Now
thinking,
knowing.
probably.
Yeah.
But I felt like she kind of knew. She seemed to be very in control and knew what to do. Like, so I was
Mm-hmm.
like super happy about that. Well, now apparently, her video that she posted in like at the end of 2021.
Yeah.
Um, that was like a 2 hour and a half feature
It said
film.
nothing, right? Essentially, it was like kind of like uninspiring or
Well,
underwhelming.
it said a lot, but like a lot of irrelevant things about Emily's life until she was 13.
Yeah.
Um,
More
so
revealing than anticipated.
yeah, And apparently there was a document in the description box. There was like a link to a Google document, and this document had like 112 pages. And this was the script of that video.
Oh.
And by the
Oops.
time I found out about this, the document was gone. So I was not able to read it. But someone else on YouTube, Vangelina Skov, I don't know if you watch her.
Mm-mm.
She is like sort of drama channel, T channel, and or commentary, I guess. Like she's
Yeah.
kind of similar to my channel, but mostly just talks about YouTubers and stuff. She talked about the fact that Creepshow talked about her and me and Nathan in one of the paragraphs in that document. So that was meant to go into the video.
Mm.
So
Hmm.
the paragraph was something like, "You're all leeches. I gave you money. If you can give me the money back," like something. Let me see if I can find the screenshot actually. Okay, yeah, I have it. Hold on.
I don't think legally there's any way to prove that, you know, if she gave money for a fundraiser, I don't think there's any way that she can legally say like, okay, I want that back. So I think you're safe on that part, but
Can you see this?
no. You might have to
Um,
hit go or add to stream. It worked before we went live.
it did. It does. It does. Chrome has lost permission. What the hell? Okay, never mind.
Dang.
Forget it. Anyways, it was a
Okay.
paragraph in which she said that she donated. No, not that she donated money. She gave us money. So
It's a very important distinction, I will
yeah,
say.
yeah. Basically, she says then that we should give her the money back. And so Vangelina Skov was like, I never received money from her. And I believe her because like, Vangelina was kind of skeptical of crypto. I remember like when I was friends with her, I was like, I don't know why she's skeptical of her. And like I was just very like, oh, she's
Yeah.
great. Like what's but Vangelina was always like, I don't know. So I don't think that they were friends. So people are like kind of talking about how Creepshow must have donated money in a live stream to Angelica Oles and confused her and typed Evangelica Skov
Mm.
instead of Angelina Skov. So she's obviously angry enough that she got confused even about that. But then with Nathan, he goes by Nbird on YouTube. Nathan was her editor for a few months.
Okay.
So she says that she bought Nathan her computer. And then I also heard him talk about this in a video on Homeboy's channel. And basically, he said that she paid for half of his computer as a signing bonus for him because he was working for her.
Yeah.
And in my case, this was a donation to a fundraiser. Like, so it's like, I don't know how she can call us leeches and stuff like that.
Mm.
And also lump Vangelina Skov in there for some reason.
Yeah.
Um,
Unrelated person. It probably just is like a move that she felt maybe like, okay, it'll cast doubt on their stories, their videos, because they were getting money from me and now they're not. So maybe some people might think like, oh, they're just in it for clout or whatnot.
So the paragraph reads like this. Side note, if any of you dumb motherfuckers who I gave money to want to send it back my way after making your video saying you're horrified by my actions and always felt uncomfortable around me, I think that's what Evangelina Skov said because she was skeptical of her.
Uh-huh.
Um, she says, do it. Talking to you, Nathan Camellia Evangelica Skov. That would be probably Angelica Oles, who is a completely different creator. You are pathetic leeches who I helped, gave platforms to, and didn't ask for jack shit in return. Well, it kind of seems now like she did ask something in return, you know?
Never criticize me in the future.
Yeah, like buying
That's
our
what she was
loyalty.
asking for.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Namely
Yeah.
because I thought we were genuine friends. I even bought Nathan his computer. How stupid am I? And you literally took someone's word that I owned CPU with no evidence. I cannot believe I trusted you. I am the world's biggest idiot for that one. Like,
Well,
wow.
okay. That's a disclosure, I suppose. Uh, there's a question. Was the gift computer a gift or bought for business?
Well, he said that she said so he was wanting to buy a new computer. He was getting signed in as an editor for her. So
Mm-hmm.
she paid half of his computer, and she said, let's call it he said she said, let's call it a signing bonus. So,
Okay.
and like that makes complete sense. Like if you
Sure.
have an editor and he doesn't have the proper equipment, it's fair enough to
Mm-hmm.
buy him the equipment. That's part of the job. Like you can't do the job unless you have, you know this.
Yeah,
Like
sure, of course.
you
And
need the
like
equipment.
that would be a write-off for her because it's she could say that was part of the business, so you could, take a tax break on however much the computer was, so it kind of helps her out too.
Yeah, and how else can he edit if he didn't have the equipment for her?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
because like it's one thing to edit for yourself and just like struggle for with like a bad computer or whatever, but when you have to like churn out videos like she was doing every other day.
You need help, yeah. You get to a point where you have to hire somebody or
Arcane says
Fiverr or something.
that it sounds like it's his property. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. And also, she would have to pay back the taxes that she got cut from her if he did pay her back, which
and people were saying in the comments, and I like of my video, I've not really had time to respond to many because I'm kind of like having a really busy week, but they were saying that if she wants donations back and stuff, like she should probably give people back the money that she got on live streams and stuff, and
yeah, exactly.
Patreon or whatever, like, and it just seems like such a weird thing. Like in my case, I kind of see why she would say that, because it was like £1,000. So maybe that
Mhm.
seems like a lot, but like at the same time, I just don't, because it was like a lot of money. I don't
Yeah.
have it right now to
And
give
you didn't
it.
ask for it. You didn't say, "Hey, give me £1,000," and or else it was just like she unprompted by you that she did it. So she had
Yeah,
no
and
choice.
there was no talk about like, oh, hey, pay me back when you can or something. There was nothing of that nature. Like I just never
It
really
wasn't
even
a
asked her,
loan. Yeah.
because I was just super happy that she was just giving me advice. So and just the fact that she shared it, I was like, oh my god, thank you so much, because it was like such a big deal
Hmm.
for me. I had like 4,000 subscribers, so it's like
That's
someone who
huge.
had like half a
Yeah,
million subscribers to share my campaign, it was like a big deal for me. So I never really
definitely.
even expected that she would donate herself.
Hmm.
So, and I actually messaged, I think, Savvy, and I can't even remember, but I messaged Savvy for sure, and I was like, "Hey, do you mind sharing?" And she shared it, and she didn't donate, and that was like not something that I was expecting, that people would donate themselves. I was
Hmm.
just hoping, when I messaged Savvy, that she would just share it, like, that
Yeah.
was because I just wanted to spread the word, basically. So it was so weird to see that paragraph, just like I
I
was a
wonder.
leech. What the hell?
Yeah, and she took it out though, right? It was just in the script.
No,
Didn't
she
actually make
didn't
the.
have, yeah,
Okay,
didn't make the cut, but
so
people
she thought
found this.
about it. She had her editor cut it out.
Oh, wait, we have someone. Zeebs. Hello, Zeebs. Probably not going to talk much because I'm shy, but just saying hello. Love your channels. I'm very interested in the discussion.
Woo.
Hi.
Thank you for watching. We appreciate it.
Very much. Um,
We're
yeah.
learning here as we go.
So, yeah, not a great thing to find out this week when I'm already
Oh, yeah.
busy.
I wouldn't worry about it, I guess. I mean, it's easier to say when it's not you, but
Sorry, okay. You're still like part of the family. Like we just don't count you.
you're basically the third member of the show at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like it's just, especially that it didn't make the cut. It's kind of even less important, I guess, to worry like, oh my gosh, she's going to come after me or something. I think it's just kind of like a last ditch effort to make you maybe look bad because you're covering the story as it unfolds. But that's kind of, yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of like a backstab from a friend or a former friend.
It kind of seems like she was expecting, without saying that, she was expecting that in return for helping us out, like,
Yeah.
but in Nathan's case, it's not even really helping him out. It's just like providing the equipment for work.
Yeah.
it just feels like she expected that we would never criticize her. So if something came
Mhm.
out about her, like, and this was huge. This is not like a little thing, because like other things came out about her before, like the
Mhm.
Hello Leash stuff, and I never commented on that because I was like, okay, so there's just some beef with someone,
Yeah,
whatever.
there's a
Like,
certain level in which, like, okay, it's not my business, whatever. But then, like, something so blatant, you can't ignore it without going against your own ethics.
yeah. So that's kind of what felt.
Hmm.
This whole situation is still crazy to me. Sorry. Thank you. Yeah, it's pretty insane. But yeah,
Hmm.
do you want
Agreed.
to move on to your people
Sure.
who
Let's do it. Okay.
yeah
So,
has an interesting take on something?
as the thumbnail and the title of this video suggests, Axel Webber is who we're going to be talking about to begin this episode. And I don't know if you're mostly on YouTube, you might not know him. If you're on TikTok, you probably definitely know who this person is. But I'll share the screen so you can see exactly who it is. It's this guy who went viral on TikTok because he allegedly has a like the New York's tiniest apartment, right? That's the whole shtick. Is that this guy, conventionally attractive, young, white man in his 20s, um, moved to New York to pursue his dream of becoming an actor. Ended up in this really tiny, like 90 square foot apartment, and I'll show you the video that he shows. We don't have to watch the audio, but here he is doing a YouTube video. He's living in his car, right? He's explaining that he's moving to New York to pursue his dreams. And in the meantime, he's living in his car and he's in New Jersey in a Walmart parking lot. And he kind of tells this story. He weaves the narrative that he's like a starving artist, essentially, just a kid with a dream, right? And he's got no money, and he's like eating peanut butter sandwiches. He's sleeping in his car, and that's kind of like the tale that we're told. So I'm like, at first blush, I'm intrigued. I'm like, this is interesting. This is cool. Like, this guy seems pretty normal, and like this is a worthwhile TikTok to watch. But the more I watched it, the more I got suspicious, because that's just what happens in my brain. But if you look a little closer and look at his older TikToks, he comes from a pretty wealthy background. Now, some people know this already, and they say, well, who cares? Like, his parents, may not be paying for anything, and he's doing this on his own. And for that, I say, okay. But then why the insistence on like living in the car and living in the small apartment and making it seem like he's never experienced a life of wealth or riches? He kind of he leaves out those details. He kind of keeps it vague. And in this video that we're watching, someone asks, or he says, like, could I afford a hotel? Yeah, but it's about the experience. And to me, that just rubs me the wrong way, because it's almost like glamorizing homelessness,
You know,
essentially.
this reminds me. This is something that Creepshow was also using a lot in her videos. And then it turned out she was leaving out this tiny detail that her and her husband actually planned to be
Mhm.
homeless. Like they raised the, I don't know, rephrase, like they saved money for it. They planned this for like 6 months or something, and then they went and lived in a car. And I'm not
Yes.
saying that it's not hard. It's still hard to be homeless and live in a car, but she was never really talking about this until,
Mhm.
actually not even until, she never talked about this. Well, maybe actually she did talk about it in this video, last video, but like now, I mean, it's kind of a little
Way
too late.
later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she was saying that, and it's people felt a little bit betrayed, because it was like, as you feel with this guy, it's like, okay, so you're trying to use the fact that you are, a struggling artist living in a car, being homeless, living in a small apartment in New York, for
Mhm.
sympathy and for
Yeah.
support,
To
but
lead you
you are
down a
actually
path.
from a
Yeah.
wealthy family. That feels like a little.
disingenuous.
Yeah.
And that's how I took it too. And that's the first problem I have. That's kind of, and exactly, this is a perfect quote. It says, it's like Camilla's meme, and I saw that meme, which I laughed at. It's like basically like motivational advice: wake up at 4 a.m., brush your teeth, and have your dad own the tech company, was the meme. And so I spoke to a 30-year-old exec about being successful, inherit a lot of money. Exactly. And I feel like they purposely, people who create content like this, that have a privileged background, that do stuff like this, like I'm living in my car, or I'm going to New York in the smallest apartment ever, I'm going to buy Chef Boyardee for my meals every day. They leave out a very significant part, that if they fail, they can go home, you know? And that's a huge, huge difference between someone who is homeless by necessity and someone who is homeless because they want to have an experience and feel like they, you know, made it in the world. It's a mindset difference that, okay, if this doesn't work out, if I don't, you know, make it in New York, I can just go to my, you know, 7-bedroom family home and be fine. So that's one part.
Go back home. Like he can always ask for money if his parents are wealthy. Like for him, it's essentially just like a little activity.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a little social experiment, right?
Yeah.
So that's one part. So I think he's kind of purposely not talking about how his family is wealthy and that this is kind of like a fun choice that he's making. That's one part. Now, the second part is that, is this even real to begin with? And let me explain what I mean about that. So Axel Webber used to go by AJ Webber. So he made content back in like 2019. He might have made it earlier, but he might have deleted it, because even if you go on his Instagram, you can see he only has 3 photos. So he's basically rebranded himself in the last few months. Now, some of his older TikToks that he made on, obviously on TikTok, were, you know, kind of showing his personality, but also, you know, more traditional TikToks where he would do voiceovers using the audio and some of that stuff. But he also bought a old car and did the same shtick kind of that he's doing in the apartment, where he's like, I bought a 1996 Camry and look how shitty it is. And like, this is what I have to put up with. So I had it on here, but I don't know where it went. But here, let me see. Axel Webber. So basically, I can't type. Oh my God. Basically, he's already been doing this type of content, and he already had 100,000 followers before he went super viral. And I'm just not totally buying it that he came out of nowhere and got this famous. I have a feeling that some sort of branding, marketing team might be behind what's I can't find it. Is actually going on.
Oh, first of all, like, oh my God, the level of research, like,
Yes.
But like, seriously, you think that's insane?
Now, here's why I think that. There's a few reasons. One is because he already had a following. And even though people will say, well, 100,000 is not like, he's got like millions of views now, which, okay, yes. However, actually, I have the link here. What am I doing? Okay, TikTok. Here we go. So he has 3.6 million TikTok followers. He's got 97.6 million views. Okay, so yes, that is a huge leap. And he got that leap when he had his small apartment in New York City. But if you scroll back to the 2019 era, this is when he's finding his car.
Well, I thought today I'd show you around my new car. Okay, let's go. This is the driver door. Ignore the hole. And check this out. These windows. Ow, they crank right down. The radio seems to be malfunctioning at the moment, but you can just imagine the music. Fly me to the moon. Let me set up. That's the mirror over there. It seems like he hot glued on a bike mirror, but it works. And the dashboard says that the top speed is 130, but after driving it for a few days, the real top speed is this yellow line here, 55. Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. I thought today.
Okay, so that's an example of his old content, but it's very similar in the sense of he's showing off something that's, you know, poor or a person who doesn't have much money needs to use to get around, and almost making a joke out of it. And I, just if he was at a lower social status or monetary status, I would think, okay, this is just a normal video. But because it's a choice and he's deciding to show it off like this, it just gives me a weird taste in my mouth. And I feel like around this time, he's got 40,000 likes and 118 message or comments on this one, that maybe they decided, like a marketing agency reached out to him or something, and they said, let's recreate this, but on a larger scale, and we'll make it go viral. And I also want to point out the time frame. So right now, this video was posted in October 2019, right? He only owned this car for like 3 months. So he's acting like this is, his car, and he's got, issues with money, but he sells the car within like 3 to 4 months. And then all of a sudden he is going to New York, and that there's a little break of time in which he goes to New York and then starts this whole secondary journey. But it, to me, okay, I'm trying to find like the perfect way to explain my big theory.
I didn't even know that you can see TikTok on a laptop.
I know, it's weird. Only if you're not private. But okay, let's see. I went through his Instagram and I went through some of his followers, because he only follows 51 people. He's got 200,000 followers. He just made this account. This was posted 1 week ago, right? And it's a professional photo, which, okay, maybe he got discovered in such a short period of time, but maybe not. And now he's already in a modeling agency. He has a contract with the Society New York, and he's 22. Like, come on. And then he's got these, okay, photos, whatever. Yeah. So let's go to his followers. So he has a brother, allegedly. This is all just me putting the pieces together. This is his brother, apparently. And you can see Axel in certain pictures with the brother. So, okay, I can assume that at least they know each other. But the pictures and the lifestyle looks much, much, much different than what he was portraying on his YouTube page and his TikTok page. Now, whether that means that he doesn't have financial support now and whatever, but I think he's leaving this part out on purpose, because the story doesn't make sense if it's like, I came from a rich family and now I'm poor. Yeah. And like, they're at the pool. They don't, to me, and it's hard to judge because maybe it's all just for the Instagram, but I think the more that you look through the photos, it looks like the family is doing fairly well. And he's a part of that and choosing to do this. Now, one interesting thing, this is his brother, allegedly. I think based on the information and what they look like and putting the pictures together, this is his brother, and this is his brother's wife. Now, she owns a social media agency in Georgia, where they're from, and she gives creator, tips and tricks, and she's apparently the owner and operator of this business. That's never been brought up at all. And I just feel like something fishy is going on. Now, that's the first part. The first part he went viral is when he showed off the world's smallest apartment, whatever, and he got a lot of attention online for showing that off. And that's this video, essentially, where he goes through how small his place is, whatever. He's secondarily famous and viral for not getting into Julliard University, which is a huge, prestigious performing arts university in New York City. And he basically vlogs not getting in, which I think is odd because, okay, here he is doing his vlog, which I will say is also extremely well edited, perfectly edited for the type of genre he is going viral in. And he acts like he doesn't really understand anything about, viral videos or how it works. He's just this poor kid who came to New York to like be an actor. But he has these vlogs that are like edited, titled, perfect, in lots of ways.
Is this on YouTube or is this on TikTok?
This is on YouTube. So he has a YouTube and then he's got the TikTok. And a lot of the content is the same. It's just formatted correctly for each platform. But he's saying in this that he's doing his Julliard interview audition in real time. So he's talking to the camera, he's vlogging it, saying, hey, like, okay, I'm about to go on in 4 hours. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm so nervous. But he sets up the camera to do a dance to show that he's nervous. He sets up the camera to say, like, oh, guys, okay, good luck. Wish me luck. I'm about to go in. This is what it sounds like. To me, if you were really serious about getting into Julliard, wouldn't you be preparing in some way a little bit more authentically and like, you know, taking it, like he's eating a peanut butter sandwich on camera, talking to YouTube, but then claiming this is his absolute dream is to make it into the school. It just seems
You do have a point, because like I was applying just recently for master's degree and stuff, and you're just like super stressed out. You have like deadlines that you need to hit, and you have like things to do. You know, in my case, it was like essays, and for each essay, I had to read whatever. In his case, it would be like preparing some sort of an audition or whatever. You're not, it's not a fun time. Like it's a stress, especially if you want to get in. Like if I didn't care, then I probably wouldn't, you're chilling, whatever, you're having fun. But when you care and you really want to, which is what he's trying to say, right? That he
he's
wanted
like, this is his
so
ultimate. Yeah, this is why he moved to New York in the first place, was to get into Juilliard, which also doesn't make sense because number one, it was a Zoom interview. So couldn't you have done that from anywhere, really? Two, if you can't barely afford to eat carrots every day, how are you going to afford the tuition to Juilliard? And three, wouldn't you wait until you got in to move? Like, what's the rush in moving? He doesn't explain that part either. And it just seems to me all to be about the YouTube, to be about the viral story of his up and coming, success in the future, that it's already basically in like motion because he's got this representation most likely. Okay, that's one thing. So he finds out he doesn't get in. Big shocker because he didn't prepare at all. He says in this part, he's like, I did an accent that I shouldn't have done. I don't know. They told me it was bad. I got rejected. And then the craziest part is that his followers went onto Juilliard's like Instagram, any social media channel, and flooded it and said, let our boy in, let Axel in. How dare you not accept Axel? And it's like, we have no idea that he is talented in any way. They accept like 8% of their applicants. Like there's no proof that he's ever acted in anything ever. And so it just, to me, it's another example of this parasocial relationship that people build online. Like they believe like his success is their own success because they believe in his story. And people are saying like, oh, one day he's going to be rich. And then some people say like, he already is, like his family already is rich, like he's already made it in the eyes of the world. But I think it's just a way to manipulate the system. And maybe I'm totally wrong. And people have been very, very, very strongly supporting him on TikTok. Like anyone who even accuses him of maybe being like an industry plant has been like completely obliterated online. So I'm sure I'm going to get some hate about this.
Oh God, you're going to shut down our podcast on the second week?
And let's see these comments. Okay. I'm the friend you go to when you want to dig up social media during someone, and my friends think I'm a wizard. This is next level work of art. Thank you.
Yeah, no, you did an amazing job. Like,
and people say they're like, why don't you get a life? Like, not to me personally, but people say, why don't you get a life? Leave this kid alone. It's like, because this is a bigger picture. He's a perfect example of a bigger picture issue, I think.
This is that, sorry, go on.
No.
It makes me think of God, what was her name? The girl who's living in a van and she went like crazy viral.
She was like showering in the van. Yes.
She had a snake and it was like all perfectly beautiful and like amazing editing. I can't remember what her name was. And then it's also similar to the situation with Spill, because Spill was a company and they were pretending to be this tea channel and they were just like churning out content every day. Obviously tea channels like us, essentially commentary, like drama, you can't keep up with like a company
Everything.
that has like a team of researchers behind, and just
Sure.
like and Lindsay Ellis came up with this term of manufactured authenticity. She
Yes.
made a video
100%.
essay on that, and I borrowed the concept for a video on Rachel Hollis, because Rachel Hollis, our favorite, was doing that with her Rach Talk show. She
That
basically
is
had
this. Yes.
yeah, she had
Exactly.
this exact thing where she was just this was like a few years ago, whatever, and she was younger, she had a different haircut, and she looked a bit more rough, if you will. And
Mhm.
it was just a bit vintage, and she still uses that intro from like back when now she has like, or
A
not now
team.
and not anymore, but like a
Yeah.
year ago she had like a team of 40 people working for her, so you could very easily just have an editor make you an intro. And in
Mhm.
the video intro, it was her like dragging tripods and like dragging the chair. It's like, Rachel, who are you kidding? Like, we know you have a team. And she said stuff like, we are now fancy, we have a producer, we're now fancy, we have a
Mhm.
script. Like, so why are you dragging your tripod? Like, oh my god, look at me, gorilla style, like, you know
I think it's
filmmaker.
I think it's because it's the antithesis of the Kardashians, but it's the same exact thing. It's like the Kardashians represent like unattainable wealth. They have so much wealth, you can never, get there most likely because they are so successful as a group unit. So people that know that they can't be there, they go to the opposite end of the spectrum and say, I am successful and I can teach you because I'm just like you in every way, and I got to be successful. So now you can listen to me and feel like you're relatable,
Yeah,
whoever wanted me to think that I'm relatable. But
yeah,
I think that is the relatability. And I think things like this, and obviously it's not confirmed whether it's just a genuine feel good story that, happens to play itself out, or if it is a manufactured thing that took strategy and thought. But marketing companies are not stupid. They know that people don't like ads. They know that people love viral stories, that they love these like organic grassroots type of campaigns, quote unquote. And they're going to get more and more savvy about it, pun intended, savvy. They're trying to get more and more savvy
yeah.
about it. And I think stuff like this is going to start happening. Now, another thing, my final thought on this whole story is that he was spotted at the Hype House. And that's one of those TikTok,
Yeah.
like content creation farms, essentially. And it was kind of like people saw him there, or there was some video of him dancing. And it was kind of like, well, since he went viral, now he's being called and invited to these places. However, he doesn't vlog that. He doesn't vlog like, hey guys, oh my God, what a crazy, amazing thing that's happened to me. I went viral and now I'm in LA. And like that to me would be more authentic. He posted yesterday on YouTube that 23 hours ago, a day in his life, he's buying, oh, now it's an ad, but a day in his life vlog, he's buying like butter at the bodega and acting, like, oh, I've always been here and this is just my typical life. And to me, that's totally within his narrative still of, oh, I'm just this like, just goofy guy living my life. But in reality, he's getting all
Yeah.
this like modeling contracts and in the Hype House, and he's not genuinely excited about going up to the roof as he makes it seem. He'll be like, wow, this is amazing, there's a pigeon, oh my God, New York City is crazy. I think it's all an act. And
Wow.
I think he acts like, if you watch his stuff after this, if you go and take a deep dive, he kind of acts like a nerd, sort of, and not to be like a negative nerd, but like kind of like he doesn't have any game. He acts like he doesn't really understand women and that he's kind of just goofy, doesn't really know how his feet work. But then if you watch his old stuff or go to his Instagram, he's got like a bandana, he's got like six-pack abs, he's like in Haiti on a cruise. Like he seems much more socially typical, I guess, in those videos and older things. And now he's developed this character in which like he's like down on his luck type of guy. And I just do not buy it at all. So I think maybe they'll reveal it later and reveal it as this huge campaign that they came up with, but maybe not. I don't know. it's just a weird story.
This is so interesting. I really just did not expect this. You really caught me by surprise because I only saw like a video pop up on my TikTok, and I don't even remember. I don't think it was the video about him not getting into Julia, but it was something else of his. And
Yeah.
I just did not expect this level of research. Oh my god, Kia, you're putting me to shame here.
Sorry. But
Um,
like what you said though, manufactured authenticity, 150%. This is what I think this is. And like that like what do you manufactured imperfection? Like he's gonna choose his flaws. You know, you're not going to look at him and decide, oh, he's a jerk or he's this and that. He's going to tell you, oh, I'm poor. Oh, I didn't get into Julliard. These are my flaws. Look at these flaws over here. Don't look at this other stuff. And I think that is manipulative. Maybe I'm being too harsh, but I don't, in my guts, I feel like something's fishy. And usually, you know, there's something to it. Maybe it's not as extreme as what I'm saying, but and also last point, I promise. This is 2 months ago, right? Was when he moved to New York. And he's gotten this much of a following, millions and millions. He's only been in New York for 2 months. And he's probably got money, if this is legit, he's probably got like $100,000 coming in the next year. So he's going to move out of this apartment. And to me, that just doesn't, like, you lived in an apartment for 2 months that was somewhat inconvenient. Come on. Like, is that something we're really going to celebrate online in 2022? I guess yes, but
at this point, I'm even wondering, did he even live in that apartment? Did he even live in that car, or was that just a film set for his vlogs?
Yeah, I don't know. I have doubts because why would you not show the rest of it? Why would you not show going to LA? Like, that's the part that I'm more so convinced that it's BS because
where you said that he went to the hype house. It's like, anyone who is like trying to make it, even if it's not, you don't make it as an actor and you don't get into Juilliard, going to the hype house would be like a big deal for you as a small influencer, as someone who wants to make it, because you're getting all this exposure. Obviously, the exposure and stuff like is that important to him because he somehow has it, and he's kind of set. The money is not important because he's kind of set. So that part is not important, but just like pretending that he is. Like
if he's so excited, if he's so excited about like little things in New York, like he claims to be like, wow, oh my gosh, there's snow, this is amazing. He went snowboarding like several months ago, you know, on his on his old pictures. Like he acts like he's never seen it before.
This is truly cringe.
Like I just think he's a good-looking guy who saw like what is really popular online, which is like feel-good stories, and he just. Because like, okay, even this too, it's like, this is from, I don't know, 1 day ago, how to make ramen. He's already been to the hype house. This is not the type of content you would keep making if this was real.
Yeah, and not when you're coming from a pretty well-off family. Like, you probably never seen ramen. Or maybe, you know, how to make it, because I've never seen ramen in my life because we have a personal chef.
Yeah, but it's just like, oh, I'm doing this out of necessity. I don't know. It just,
I don't like this at all. You're so right, though. You're so right. I just didn't see it. But like, this is not good news. I hate, and this is personal opinion really, but I hate companies that do this because they're literally, and wasn't there a photo shoot with the Kardashians, or not the Kardashians, I think it was Kim and Kanye, and they did a photo shoot in like a poor house, and it's just like this idea, let's go to
cosplay.
Let's cosplay as a poor person. Let's do poor tourism. Let's just like have fun living like them for like an hour. Oh, even the Ace family who went and worked in a restaurant as bartenders, no, as like waiters or something for like an hour, and it turns out that was their friend. It wasn't even like like an actual, it wasn't an actual
No.
job for a full day, and they said working in the restaurant for 24 hours, but in fact they were working in the restaurant for like an hour or two, and the restaurant was owned by a friend.
Yeah.
It's like, and then they were like, oh, look at us trying to get a normal job. It's like they're just glamorizing poverty, and they're pretending like it's not a big deal, and poverty is this quirky little thing, when
Yeah.
it's debilitating for people.
100%, 1,000%. Someone who's actually impoverished, most likely, in 99% of cases, I would imagine, don't get the big break that this kid got. And they don't have the background to fall back on if they fail. So it's already not comparable. So when people see this, they go, being poor isn't so bad. That everyone should just take their bootstraps and be like Axel and just like, go for it, make a quirky vlog, and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
And like poor people don't, they just aren't as hardworking as people like Axel. And it's like, that's bullshit. It's not the same thing. Like choosing to be in a situation that, is more affordable is not the same thing of not being able to get a job because you went to prison and now you can't get a job and now you're stuck in the cycle of poverty forever and ever. It's totally two different things, but people will watch this and go, I understand poverty now. I get it. I've seen it on my TikTok. And that's the part that's disappointing and I think needs to be corrected in some way.
I guess the question that I have for you is,
Yes.
do you think he even wanted to get into Juilliard?
No, I don't, because who does in this day and age? He's not stupid. What person thinks, oh, the only way to become an actor is to go to Julliard, who's 22 years old? Everyone knows, and he knows because he's been doing TikToks and was successful at it since 2019 or probably earlier. So he's not an idiot. He knows too how it works, and he's doing exactly, making vlogs. I'm telling you, the editing on those vlogs is perfect. Exactly vlog style, the way that even like him dancing, there's like little cut-ins. I'm an editor, a video editor. That's something that you have to learn over a long period of time. And he doesn't say he's an editor or a video creator. He says he's just a quirky guy. So I'm not, someone's editing those videos, or he has a skill that he's not talking about, which makes no sense. So
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Editing takes like forever. And if in order to do I don't do that because it takes so much time, and I'm not loving the editing part. So for me, just cutting short on that is just helpful. So I think if he's someone who was into editing and he was like putting in hours and hours of editing, he would not be able to. I don't know.
If he was like a theater nerd and had like a good background, and he doesn't talk about ever watching plays, being in acting class, acting school, nothing. Why would you want to go to Juilliard? I just don't understand. It seems like he likes a traditional route of getting famous. So I don't know. It just seems like a convenient way to talk about like, oh, TikTok is the true way to move forward in your career. Hire our marketing team that made this kid go super successful and viral and got all this like news coverage, and we can do it for you. And we'll, just pay us $100,000 and we'll make your child a star. That's what I think.
Like his sister. You said his sister, or like a family relative who has like a social media company. That's
his sister-in-law. Yeah. And that's not discussed. It's like his family doesn't exist really in this world of virality. He has, you can look it up, you can find it, but from what he presents, they don't exist. The only storyline is 20-something-year-old kid goes to New York for dream of Julliard, lives in tiny apartment, and that's it. Like, gets rejected from Julliard, but then becomes famous because of TikTok. That's the story. And I just don't buy it.
Yeah,
I don't think
he's like a model or something now. Like because the whole news was he gets rejected from Juilliard, becomes a model because of the story or something.
And it's also partly the media's fault because they pick up on it and they don't ask follow-up questions. Like, I can't read it because I can't go on this New York Times thing. I don't pay for it.
This is essentially like, if it's true what you're saying, which we don't know for sure. This is our speculation.
Obviously, yes. I don't know anything really.
Yeah, like this is just based on our own opinion. But if this was the case, then the media in this case is acting as a big, as like Axel is a big sponsor who's sponsoring them to put out the story.
Yeah. And because he's not technically an actor. He's not technically a person, an influencer with businesses behind him. The news outlets are more interested or more willing to tell the story, but it doesn't mean that he's not being represented on the DL. He's just not telling people that outright.
Yeah.
And
Which
this,
should be kind of illegal, shouldn't it? Like, I feel
yeah.
like that should be false advertising of
I
sorts.
think so. But that's the thing. It's like we see so many influencers maybe put a hashtag ad, maybe on something, but
Yeah.
half the time they don't, and no one's really watching. It's like the FCC could care less. They got,
Yeah.
other things to deal with, I suppose. But it's just, yeah, it's hard to know what's authentic and what's not. And even going back to the Kardashians for a second, I've been watching stuff about them photoshopping different children into different photos on their Instagram. So like if they don't want to show that one of their kids was somewhere, they'll just take the photo of a different kid and Photoshop the body. It's like, it's insane how far we've gone to have a narrative be the way they want it to be. It's crazy. So I don't think anything is past anything. I
I
don't
feel
think
like
it's
these people like know something that we don't. Like, I think they know just how to manipulate the media, or how I'm assuming they must
Totally.
have, like in Axel's case, like you found it, that he has someone in the family that is in the media business. I'm
Mhm.
assuming that all these people have just like genuine um contracts with like paparazzis and stuff like that to give them attention, and we think they're
Mhm.
just like harassing them, but in fact they're hired.
Totally. It's like an industry within itself, is the behind the scenes type of who knows who and who's paying who and all that. I, totally believe that. And this, I can't read it, but this article that was written from the New York Times, okay, which is a very reputable news source. It's not like the Daily Bugle or something, insane, or Breitbart or something, not reputable. The New York Times wrote about him, and their only source is him. They ask him, well, how much do you pay for your apartment? Did you come from did you know you were going to be viral? Like, all the questions were answered by him. So to me, I have no confirmation about anything. All he did was
Do
say
you
what he was
think they're
supposed to say.
in, or do you think they just bought the lie?
No, I think that the reporter is probably earnest, but is just not really taking the necessary steps from a person that's skeptical. She's covering it as someone who believes the story outright.
Mm.
Like, they don't think like, oh, maybe there's a layer deeper than this that I should investigate. At least this person, I read the article as very, favorable to him. And she said, oh, I have a lot of contacts in the hype house. So what does that mean? She's like, no, he's not in the hype house. It's like, okay, but
I
maybe he's
wonder
not.
if this is just like a really slow month, even for newspapers. They're like, we have nothing, so let's just run this story. And because
Yeah,
like this is, they did the same thing with like Rachel Hollis, even with Gabby Hanna, BuzzFeed News or whatever it was called. And
yeah,
then when something goes to shit, they cover that too. I guess.
sure.
Um, but like I do feel like there should be some sort of research though.
I worked in news. Like, I didn't work at something as big as New York Times. I worked for local, publications, but we're traditional media, TV station and newspaper. And I'll tell you, they don't. A lot of times a lot of times you have to take what you are given. And if, the police say something, you can't do a 20-hour investigation, whether that's true or not. You just go with what they said and you attribute it to them. And that's what she did in this case. She attributed it to Axel himself. So she's off the hook. But if you don't ask the right questions because you're not skeptical, then you don't get any sort of interesting article in the first place, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
I don't think they're more complicit in the non-digging deeper because of budget issues, time issues, how much they have on their plate. But it lends that situation gives PR people, marketing people so much leverage to create stories like this that may or may not be true.
But maybe they have like a range of marketing people messaging them stories all the time.
Oh, they definitely do. Yeah, totally. I was a video, they call me a video blogger. I got PR pitches constantly. I was like a nobody, and I got PR pitches every single day. They get your email and they put it into a system, and now you're being targeted all the time. And these bigger people, I'm sure there's whole industries to show how they get national media attention. So yeah, there's a lot of work to be done there.
I have a story that is it would be interesting to say, but I just don't know if I should talk about it, because like it's on a big broadcaster website. So
Well, don't get in trouble. Don't get sued again.
I'm not gonna get in trouble, but I just think I had a situation in which, after putting out something about someone, I found out more. There was more to the story, and this person had left out that entire part of it. And in that situation, there was no PR. Like, this was a very small, like, local story. So there wasn't really like, he wasn't represented by some agent, but somehow I got the tip, if you like, and and I went, and only afterwards I realized, because I had like an instinct. I was like, I feel like there was more here, and then only after I did some more research, and I did have to dig for like the other piece of the story, and then that person actually messaged me wanting me to make another video. And I just remember talking to my producer and being like, actually, I just no, because I don't want to. It seems like this guy likes attention, and I'm not gonna say, because like people can put it together if they want to. But basically, yeah, like sometimes as a video journalist. Hi, Christine. At least in my case, I was a video journalist, but you don't know all of it. So in that case, there wasn't really like a big market behind it, but I wasn't working for a tabloid or for anything of the sort. So this was subsidized by the government too. This wasn't like, there was no ads system. So if it was like
Interesting,
somewhere where you can do a sponsorship, which were other channels, like I had friends working for channels where they were running on like on YouTube with ads and stuff like that. So in those cases, I wonder just some of the news, how many of the news they don't put out because they're about the sponsor, or how many of the things they do put out to just kind of like give free promotion, or not free because they're paying.
Well, you got to think, why would Jeff Bezos want the Washington Post? He doesn't need it for money. It doesn't make money much. There's many other industries he could invest in other than the Washington Post, but he gets it so that they can write positive op-eds about how Amazon is saving humanity and start to sway public opinion. I think that's my thoughts on it. And the newspaper industry specifically is in such dire situations right now across the country. Like, they're cutting staff all over the place. They have people who are like 21, fresh out of college, covering the biggest news stories in these cities. And everyone's just burnt out, especially with the pandemic and with the, hating of journalists because of the politics of the United States right now. No one wants to be in the industry. You don't make much money as a journalist. You make I think to start off in a small newsroom, you probably make $20,000 for 3 years. And that's living in, like a place that has rent that's a normal price. And they wonder why people won't work there. But I think all those factors together are making it much easier to just resort to the PR stuff, put the press release on the website and call it a day because they're so busy. But I think that's when we're getting this misinformation stuff. We're getting these other publications that pop up, and it's like very heavily biased, but we can't even tell the difference because they all look the same online. So there's a lot of stuff going on with like journalism and the downfalls of that I would love to talk about some other time, but there's a lot to unpack there.
Even in the UK, I think there is a newspaper that is owned by a politician too, which is like the private sector. Because like in the UK, there's like, I keep saying we, I don't even live there anymore. But basically, there's a BBC that is like public owned by the government. and then there's others that are not. So those are in the private sector, and one of them in the private, I can't even remember the name of the politician, but this was like news a few years ago that he became the editor. Not even like bought it, but he edits the, like, it's like, obviously you're gonna skew the narrative, like it's going to be in
Totally.
your favor in one way or another.
But they're able to
um
come in and just buy up these papers at such a low price, or buy up the news stations because they're struggling so harshly. And we have a thing in the United States where a hedge fund is coming in and buying up all of these newspapers across the country. And the hedge fund does not care about journalism whatsoever. So they're investing in AI technology to write journalism. It's like, how is that going to work? They're trying to get rid of anything that's like human in, journalism. But then, yes, then you can buy, probably marketers can buy a piece of it to not be talked about, or to only have positive things run. Like, I'm not convinced that, it's ethical in any way.
No, I started to think there is no such thing as ethics at all. Really.
No. Agreed.
Let's talk about briefly, because like it's 9. So we're talking
Oh,
about
sorry.
the West Elm Caleb story for a minute.
Yes.
Because
This is a feel good. Well, not really.
well,
Actually,
not really. Kind of, but well, okay. So West Elm Caleb. Uh, do you know like a little bit about it?
I know the basics. I saw it pop up on my timeline or on my For You page a few times.
Okay, so for the people who don't know, um like TikTok is a very interesting platform. Like I adore it. I'm
I love it.
addicted big time. So basically this girl posted TikTok talking about a dating experience with this guy Caleb, who worked as a designer at West Elm. And by the way, I own uh
That's it.
I own what's it called, like a vanity table. Well, it was a desk, but I used it as a vanity table from West Elm, and now I'm feeling like, oh, West Elm, I don't want to be associated with Caleb. Anyway, did she post this story, and she gets like a good amount of views on it, and then people start to message to comment in it. Somebody comments in it that she also went on a date with this guy Caleb, who worked at West Elm as a designer. So everyone's like commenting under that thread, and there's like this huge thread. Turns out Caleb has been dating everyone, and he's just like also ghosting everyone, and like they're all under the impression that they're dating and they're having like the beginning of a relationship. This girl had been in a the situationship, if you like, with him for like 6 weeks, and he had been
Dang.
dating so many women.
How do you have so much time?
I don't know.
It's
I guess
amazing.
designers at West Elm don't have a lot to do. I mean, they don't have that many pieces at West Elm. It's like
They make one for the season. They're like, all right, well, time
yeah,
to date.
it's a fairly small range, but it's kind of like luxury type. Um, so yeah, it's pretty insane. But he's been called out, and there's like there's been a message that he sent to her.
Oh,
I don't know
God.
if you've seen that one, but let me see if I can find it.
Is it this one? Oh, no, this is her to him.
No, I think that's the one. In the middle. Oh no, that's not the one. Anyway, so he has called her out essentially. He's like, I don't even know who these people are. They're just jumping on the bandwagon and stuff
Oh,
like
boy.
that. I don't believe him. Do you
Well,
think that people could make up dating stories with Caleb for some reason? Like, why?
I doubt it. And I saw that the one girl, I think it was this one, I believe, on the left. The way she found out was that he had sent her a Spotify playlist, and then saw that there was like 100 other ones that were the same songs and had different names. So he was sending them to all the different girls, like different playlists and stuff. I think
Yeah.
probably that they're telling the truth, I would imagine. But yeah, there is always that thing of, is it for clout? Is it, once it goes viral, is this person just, making it up? But I tend to believe people mostly, for the most part,
But
at
you
first
see, like,
glance.
unlike Axel, this is not a
Yeah.
good look for him. So
No.
this is not the kind of story that you could have like someone just be the brains behind it. Like, let's make him like that's I think this was just a complete coincidence
Yeah.
that this girl came across the video, and she was like,
Mhm.
oh my god, this is the same guy I dated. And then basically just probably started sharing it with all her friends, be like, dude, remember that guy, because you know how we say it, "Do you remember West Elm guy," or something like.
Uh-huh.
And they're like sharing it, and I think this, I'm assuming, but this makes sense to me, like that it would be just like an organic thing at first, and yeah,
Mhm.
now it's viral. And maybe let's say that some of the stories are just like people jumping on the bandwagon being like, I dated him too, and maybe they
Yeah.
didn't. But like, I think the vast majority of them are not lying,
I
because he
agree.
is on the Hinge or something.
Yeah, it looks like Hinge to me. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, it doesn't matter to me if you date multiple people because I think that's pretty typical on apps. But if you're telling each of them that you're exclusive and then going behind their back and dating, then that's where I say it's wrong. If he was just
Obviously,
dating multiple women, that's to me fine. But
no,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
of course, but obviously, like, this is like a not. He's not just dating. He's like
like moving
spreading
in with
his
all of them.
wings like quite a
Yeah.
lot. Like, basically, it's just like a normal person would be like going on. Let's say, okay, let's say you're really ambitious with your dating, and you're gonna date like 10 guys in a month. Like,
Yeah.
I'm assuming that would be ambitious. I don't know.
Very ambitious, I would imagine.
Yeah.
That's like two a
So
week.
but he's dated so many, like, there's so many videos, like, this is more than that. It's just the kind of crazy. I just
Now
find
I
it really
wonder,
entertaining.
do you think he's paying for all these meals?
Wow, they must be paying him quite a lot at West
Yeah.
Elm.
West Elm's got a
No,
good
I
budget.
don't know. Somebody needs to post a video about this, like, did he pay for the date?
Yeah, or do they go to like, because I know one girl said they went to the museum, which I think is free. So it's like, well, is he just going on these free dates? I wonder though if he's like really lonely. I don't know. Like, what do you think? He's just like a player? Like, what's his
I
reasoning?
think so.
Yeah,
um
interesting.
I think that he is just someone who really needs a lot of attention. He's basically talking to everyone and not rejecting anyone, because then he gets messages when he's lonely or something. So I
Mm,
think it's one of these situations, and I think he's in an unfortunate one, because obviously some of these girls are on TikTok, and
yeah,
they talked about it. So I don't know if she wasn't on TikTok, you would have never found out.
that
You would
anyone
have
knew.
never found out that this is the same guy that like all of New York has dated.
Have you read? Is this the message you were talking about originally? Because he was mad that she posted about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, the vast majority of people commenting on the video, people saying I had dates planned, that I was creepy, that I went on a date and didn't pay. There you go. That's our answer. You didn't
That was
pay.
my
But
question.
of
Yeah.
course, you didn't pay. You can't pay for that many. Um, People are just
Hmm.
commenting to get involved in. Yeah, yeah. Okay. How do you? Okay.
Hmm.
Why would
I will
anyone
give him
have
credit.
this like whole campaign against him? Like, I just don't understand. Unless he did something to them, why would they hate him so much?
Yeah.
Like,
It's well,
when
I
you're
remember.
ghosting someone, yeah, sure, they hate you and they're jumping on the bandwagon.
Yeah. And I'm wondering, yeah, maybe. I mean, this girl, she didn't say that he did anything other than kind of just over a 2 week period kind of got disinterested or stopped responding to her text. And then so she said, "Hey, like, what's up? Why are you doing this?" And he like didn't respond or said he wasn't interested anymore. And that seems pretty typical. And she said it happened over the course of like Christmas time, so they weren't really like, he went and saw his family and she did too, so they didn't see each other. But going to TikTok, I guess, then it blew up and now he's upset. But I will
Yeah.
give him credit that he said this to her as opposed to just ignoring it, because he could have just
Well, I'm
ghosted her
assuming
again.
this is pretty overwhelming. But this message to me sounds very, like, a little too calm for,
Yeah.
like, I feel like when something like this happens, I'm assuming I would be screaming like, what the fuck, dude, this is not real. Like, why are you saying these things? Why are people, like, you know what I mean? I would be upset, and he sounds so like, okay, let me just
Nonchalant.
answer point by point to anything that she might come back with. It feels like a very thought out.
Response.
Then I'm assuming that he probably did think, okay, maybe she might talk about this in a TikTok, so maybe he did think about it a lot. But
Well, he was right because she did put it in the TikTok,
yeah.
so maybe he's smart. He's like, okay, this girl's gonna put this in a TikTok, so I'm gonna put it exactly so it sounds exactly perfect of what I want to say.
But it doesn't seem like, you'd be upset. Like, he doesn't seem like upset
Yeah.
at all in that message. He sounds like, okay, I need to save face here, so I'm just gonna say what I need to say.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It feels like an odd message. I would have assumed he would be angry, because like you'd get angry if there was like an entire hate train against you and you
Yeah.
were completely innocent. You would
Mm-hmm.
be just shocked, and you would be like,
Little
you
more
have some sort of
emotional.
emotional reaction. You wouldn't just be like, yeah, whatever. So they're just like,
Yeah.
Caleb, I guess you know how to handle perception.
Yeah. He's gonna have to get a new job so he can be Caleb from Target or Pottery Barn or something, so he can get on dates again.
I wonder if like West Elm will fire him now because he's bringing so much bad publicity to the
Or
company.
maybe he's giving them, any publicity is good publicity, right? So I guess maybe people are going to West Elm's Facebook and like driving up their numbers.
I mean, what did you design, Caleb? If you if you come across this, I would be
Yeah.
interested.
Well, Christine G, she posted that it sounds familiar to this story that I put on the screen, that Jason Collier person had 2 wives, 3 fiancés, and 15 girlfriends. So Caleb is maybe Jason in training.
Wow, yeah.
He was trying it out. I think that's a lot. I think dating around, is forgivable. I think when you're committed to 2 of them and engaged, that's probably more of a psychotic episode or something. I don't know. It doesn't seem like a normal thing. And yeah, I agree with I don't know who said it. Let me see. I agree with someone who said on the chat that how do people have this time? And I totally agree. Oh yeah, that was Christine also. Like, how do people have time to go on all these dates?
Yeah, agreed. How?
I can barely like survive
I've not been
doing
on a date
nothing.
in like months.
Yeah.
Single.
Interesting. So would you, okay, here's a hypothetical. If you were to match with Caleb and you gave him a chance, or like you didn't know that he had been involved in this, and then you found out that he was involved in this, would you go on a date with him?
Oh no. But
No?
I'm very brutal with these things. I'm like, no red flags allowed. Like, it's over, because I've been burnt like way too hard.
Yeah.
But I wonder, maybe I would go like just to like interview him.
Interesting. Yeah, how can you hide? You can't hide anymore. Basically, social media has taken away hiding. Like, everyone stalks each other. Everyone can look up your ex-girlfriends, your ex-boyfriends, your parents before you even meet each other. So you can't run away from yourself anymore.
At least he wasn't married like this guy, Jason Collier, at least.
That
And
we
it
know
kind of
of.
seems like he doesn't actually, Caleb at least, doesn't have a girlfriend. So at least he's not cheating on someone. I guess that part. But it's still very like dishonest not to be like, oh, by the way, just so you know, I'm like dating half of New York right now. So you're just on the roster here, and it's a pretty big one. So keep up.
Yeah,
Okay?
I didn't like that. That was like he was telling the one girl, like, oh, I feel like you're really special, and I hope you don't go on Hinge anymore, and like leading her on to not want to meet other guys, which I think is unfair. It should be equal on both sides.
Of course he would do that. That seems like a typical, I don't want to say narcissist, because like I get way too many videos about narcissists, but like definitely like a specific trait of a kind of person that would like to get attention and get all the benefits that come with dating and relationships and stuff, but without giving anything in return, or without giving the same in return.
I agree, and it also kind of it's sad in a way, because it probably he doesn't have many friends, I would imagine, because if he has all this time to go on dates with random girls, he's not really spending quality time with like people of his own kind of like platonically friend group. So maybe it's like a loneliness thing, but he also has issues with attachment and he doesn't want to get too attached or something. I don't know. I'm always trying to psychoanalyze like what's the deeper meaning behind your actions.
He's not like, this is not a healthy operating person. Like, this is a person operating from something, definitely not normal or healthy way of dating.
You know where he needs to go? Caleb needs to go to the Congruent Conference in Austin, Texas, on February 4th through 6th. To learn how to
there we
grow
go.
axes.
Yes. So our favorite, absolute favorite cringe-fluencer, Dave Hollis.
Woo! I can't escape Dave Hollis if I ever tried.
Okay, I don't know what orange flags means.
It means like red flags, but like less than that.
Yeah, absolutely. No flags unless they're green.
Yeah. Well, we don't have to talk about this for long, but this conference that is in Austin, Texas. Oh, let me put this. Hold on. We got to take your comment off.
This is so cringe. I can't even look at it.
Yeah, that's Dave Hollis. If you're not familiar, Dave Hollis and Wade King, they've teamed up for no reason to create this conference for men only in Austin. And it's supposed to be a competitive yet inspiring and I don't know, I guess inspiring and inspirational is the same thing, but for men, it's the Rise Conference for men, essentially. Yeah, a lot of people are not buying it. But I was going to say, guess who? I guess the cat's out of the bag. There's only one woman involved in this conference. Guess which woman it is?
Obviously. Heidi.
It is. It's going to pop up in a second, actually. Perfect timing. Okay, let's see.
Is it there we go.
There
You scared me for a minute. I was like, wait, is it not Heidi? It's like, who else is he dating?
The only woman to appear at this conference is Dave's own girlfriend, Heidi Powell. Now, let me just make one comment about the production value of this video, because that's where we both come from that world of video production. There's literally a 15-second black hole that they just left empty.
Wow.
The details are not a part of the Hollis's brand.
I love the slow-mo, by the way.
Yeah.
It's just so 2000 of him.
It's a good video, other than the giant hole of nothing that they just didn't add.
I do not like this video. I think it's just cringe on so many levels. Kelly says Heidi, of course. The cringe king of Austin.
Who could it be?
Yeah. At least. Okay, so these prices are still high.
Yes.
However,
super high. I think that's 2 days.
The Rise stuff. The Rise prices. You've been to one, haven't you? Like you've been.
I did it virtually, but
how much was that?
It was $250 for 3 days virtual. So I just got access to the like login screen, and I could watch them on my computer. But yeah, the Rise, the one I was at virtually, the tickets to go in person were like $2,000 at the highest end.
Right.
So
that's
lower than that. Yeah. But this is supposed to be more intimate, so it's not as big, I guess. I don't know.
The one they did on like relationship coaching,
that was like
up
grand.
to $1,700, and they didn't include any accommodation or transportation.
Well, this one doesn't either. The 800 and 500 is just the conference, not the reservations. And if you want to buy, I looked it up for this reason. So if you want on the dates, if you want to book something to stay on site with them, it's $300 a night ish, and for the total it'd be $900-ish, like $950, $987, just to stay with them on site. Come on,
that's a lot.
Yes.
Now, okay, and see, the thing is, I struggle sometimes to like really just put my finger on it, but like a concert ticket is like something like 100 $200, and
Oh,
you get to see a proper celebrity, sing for you and entertain you and have like a proper, like, you know what I mean? And
yeah.
this is like, what am I gonna see there? Just Dave Hollis being cringe.
Yeah, what's Dave Hollis going to tell you? Like that you can't figure out for yourself. And probably the advice that he gives you is going to be bad anyways because he doesn't take any advice that he shells out. But if you pay for the VIP, you get a free copy of Built Through Courage. So it's all worth
expensive
it.
to pour into it. I'm dying.
Oh my God. I don't know. The whole thing, and it's brought up a lot of conversations too about conferences in general and how, basically, and someone said, I don't know who it was, I don't want to not credit them, but somebody said, basically every conference is a conference for men. And the ones that are for women are specifically, labeled and kind of promoted, like the Rise conference, that's specifically for women. So they're like, this doesn't exist anywhere. This is the first of its kind men's conference. It's like, not really. I mean, if you go to any church or any place that has, groups of people, they do men's retreats constantly. So I don't buy it that this is the first ever men's conference. And
no, every
like,
conference was, yeah, like you said, is for men.
yeah, exactly. And they have a lot of leaders and stuff. I don't know how many people they're expecting, but this is like a huge team. And I'm surprised. I don't know how many tickets they're going to sell. I can't imagine it's very many. I don't know how many men are seeking out this type of
I don't know. But then what are they
conference.
gonna do? Just like throw hammers? Like what is a manly activity that women are
Yeah,
just
they said
not welcome to do?
they're going to throw hatchets, and they literally said
Uh-huh.
that in the video. They're going to throw hatchets, archery, and cornhole, and that somehow is going to be the competition part, because there's a competitive part and then there's like a
Yeah.
like emotions part. And I
Mm.
don't know. I just
Aren't
don't think that
emotions
these are
for like
men that.
women or something? Okay, can I show you something that I saw? I
Yes.
don't know if you saw this, but talking
Okay.
about a lovely
Oh yeah,
Heidi,
that's
of
probably.
course.
I watch all of Mac Attack's videos, so yes, that's probably true.
Talk about this person, Heidi.
I have so much to say about Heidi.
Okay, so this is hilarious. She's trolling us. She's trolling everyone, I think. But I need to show you this because like, I just want to see. I don't know if you've seen it, but I want to see your reaction to this. So I'm just going to show you my phone, and I want you to read the caption, okay?
Okay. Oh yeah, enter my loves. I know. My God. It's so weird. She does it. I can't tell if she does it on purpose or like she just is
It
unaware. I
has
don't
to be a
know.
troll. It has to be a troll. And if it's
Yeah.
a troll, I respect the troll. If it's not a
Yeah.
troll, then oh my god, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I
It gets
definitely
worse
love
and
it.
worse. The thing the thing that I find funny or interesting is the patterns. Like you can see the patterns. Like I follow them both. Well, I don't follow Dave because he blocked me, but I follow Heidi. And as soon as Dave and her take a break, they go like he goes back home to his house. She starts posting pictures of her ex-husband and her. It's so bizarre. It is the weirdest thing.
Did you
Like
see the fact that they spent like the Christmas day or some Christmas, the day after
at his
Christmas or
house.
something, all
Yeah.
of them, like Dave and the other exes, were all there hanging
Yeah.
out. This is the most bizarre concept that I've ever heard. Like, I don't even want to
know.
see one of my exes, let alone all of them in a room hanging out, being
Yeah.
friends. Like, no.
Well, they were Heidi and her two ex-husbands before she met Dave. She was on Good Morning America talking about how amazing their co-parenting relationship was. So that's not anything new either. That was, like her whole shtick for a while. Like, oh, my brother husbands are amazing. They're best friends and they do it for the kids and blah, blah, blah. But now I don't think Dave fits in. I don't think Derek and Chris like Dave very much. So
I mean, they probably like hate. It's probably like the most passive. It must be like a really passive aggressive like environment because like how on earth? How else can you actually like talk to your exes. Like,
Yeah. I mean, you have kids, I guess. Like, it's better to be friendly than hate each other, but
just like hang out together with all the exes and just
yeah, it must be confusing for the kids because, like, one day they're there, one day they're not there. You know, they kind of now this new guy's there with his new kids. It's like that's a lot to go through as a young child, I think.
yeah. Okay, let's talk about your shirt, and then we can. I have to go because I have an exam,
Yes.
but let's talk about that.
Well, this will be for sale soon. I'm almost at 10,000 subscribers on my channel, so I decided to wait until I've hit that milestone to get people prepped and ready. But this is supposed to be, so the concept is, we all know that toxic positivity, most people will say, choose happiness, choose joy, choose to be positive, whatever. And I get annoyed by that because a lot of times there's factors outside of your control in which you can't always be super positive and happy. So as a antithesis to that, choose sadness is what I'm choosing today. And it doesn't mean you have to be depressed, but it shows the irony that, you know, who's going to choose to be sad? Probably nobody. But it's just as idiotic as saying choose to be happy. So
Yeah.
that's the concept of that. And they'll be on sale as soon as I hit 10K, and I'll put the links on all the videos.
They're really cute.
Thank
I'm gonna
you.
grab one.
I'll send you one.
I'll tell you what. Another thing about the choose joy thing, though, it's not just. Kelly
Choose
says
weed.
I love it so much.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Kelly.
One more thing about that is I think it's an indoctrination thing, because you can't both choose joy and be critical of whatever. You can't be in a Rise conference and basically choose joy and also criticize Rachel who is on stage, because they're gonna be like, hey, this is not a place for negativity. Like everyone's just gonna jump on your throat. So you can actually, that's not just the okay, let's choose joy because joy is better than anything else. It's let's choose joy because that will help us control the response and the reaction.
Choose ignorance is basically what they're all saying.
Yeah.
Choose not to look deeper beneath the surface of this, because if you do, you may find something that's not joyful. So just don't even look for it.
Yeah.
But I can't do
better
that.
to just focus on the positive, like, you know, don't look.
Yeah, but that's how you get taken advantage of, you know? And I hate that. That's the part that's like, if you're not selling me something, fine. Tell me to be positive, whatever. But if you're trying to sell me a dream and sell me this conference and then tell me not to criticize it or anything in my life, it's like, that's not fair.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the point, because like if you are indoctrinated into this idea, and MLMs love to use this, like you have and also like some cults like Mormons and stuff have, like, this is more like hearsay because I've never been in one, but like from what I've seen like on TikTok and people talking about stuff like this, it's similar to like the MLM attitude, and it's like just a way to keep people in situations that are very toxic, very bad, very that take advantage of them. But they should keep focusing on the negative, and perhaps in like 5 years you'll just
magically
strike gold. Like, okay, but what about the 5 years when I'm struggling and like no, just focus on the positive. Just don't look at don't look at your debt that grows like day by day. Just look at the $100 you made this month.
Yeah. Yay!
They don't even like, I saw like an FTC report at one point, and they made something like $200 or $250 per year, like the average.
Well, it's like 99% or 98% make $0 to $100 a year. Like that's like most of the MLMs. It's so ridiculous, but they won't look at that or believe. They're like, well, I'm the 1%. It's like, no, you're not. You're not going to be. Yeah. But if you don't have that mindset, you're never going to try. So then they just push you to like get you to think that you could be. But I think that's detrimental. And like we were talking about with the Axel stuff, if you're not looking at the systemic issues that may be pushing you down, if you're just looking at yourself as an individual and go, well, it's all in my control. If I just wake up at 4 like Rachel Hollis, then I can fix this. You're never going to fix the bigger problems that are actually causing you these issues. Like,
Yeah.
why do MLMs exist in the first place? Like,
Yeah.
why are they not
What's
regulated
this-
more by the government? Like, there's more questions to be asked, but if you don't ask them, then they're just going to continue out of control.
Yeah, that's why they put so much. This is actually such an old concept too. Like, this is not new at all. This was like already debunked in the 1800s in France. Like, it's called determinism. That it's all in your power, and if you do this and you do that, you have the power to change. And then all the philosophers were like, no, actually, let's talk about the bullshit at the top first. And this is like
Yeah.
that's sometimes something that makes me think, like, how on earth are we still here? Because these things were like super discussed like 2 centuries ago. Like,
What's old is new again. Everything
Yeah.
comes full circle again, and the more right you go, the more
Fingers.
left you become, it's all a circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just journal, and then also get a small loan of $1 million, and you'll be set to start your business.
Yep.
And it's
All right.
not fair. Like, life isn't fair, and we should accept that in some ways, and then try to find the best life, knowing that that's true, as opposed to striving to reach the top, in which we can never get there. Like, the chances are so slim. Realize, maybe
I
if you
think-
do, it's amazing. It's not the norm. It's not like you're doing something wrong.
One of the philosophers that I didn't really properly study him, but like it's kind of in the mix there. He's this his name is Bakunin. He's a Russian guy, and he came up with the idea of anarchism. And he said basically, like, the gist of it was no God, no maître, which means like no boss, essentially, no God, no boss, and the revolution is what will actually solve things. And I think he was like onto something, like, because like people forget just how that we are under systems. Like, there's you pay taxes somewhere. Like, those people are meant to protect you. Those people are meant to like help society. It's not the other way around.
Yeah.
You're not meant to help them. They're meant to help you. And people forget about that, and just um they forget that they have power. And that's, I think, what he was trying. But this is like, again, like an old thing. Like, this happened like in the 19th century or something. Like, this is not new, and we're
Yeah.
still not quite aware of just how much power people have.
I think because human problems are human problems, and they don't change much over time. Like, even technology and things that we deal with today, you could compare that to, when people had books for the first time and weren't socializing, or when people moved into cities and didn't have, the same issues they had when they were on their own in little tribes. Like, there's issues that come up, and they just come up in different, more sophisticated ways, but they're really the same issues. It's like, your family, supporting your family somehow, having security somehow, having growth somehow, being happy, pursuing happiness. It's like, those are things that probably, people in ancient times dealt with to some degree.
Yeah,
And-
exactly. Like, if you read Aristotle or if you read Seneca, those would be
Relatable.
things that they talked about. They, like, none of these things are new, and people did find, like, solutions to these things. But then for some reason we still just live like we have no, not that we have no control, but like we live as if there's nothing we can do, and there's like a lot that we can do. But just
it's like,
people
why
are not
don't-
ready for it. They're not ready for it.
Yeah. It's like, why do people smoke cigarettes? Why are people overweight in any way? It's like, there's so many informational packets. There's so many ways that you could, like, work out, eat healthy, not smoke, not drink. And yet we still do these things because there's psychological pressures that are making us choose these things. But we don't look at that. We only look at like the symptom of it. And I think that's why we never solve these problems, because
I think often it happens, like the real change really happens when it gets too bad.
True.
And I think perhaps they managed to keep it just slightly above the threshold of terrible,
yeah.
so that people don't actually revolt, so that people don't actually just come after them. And I think that's literally the most dangerous zone, like just a little bit above the poverty line. you'll just be above, and then you'll be fine. And then people forget that that's not like that's not the standard of the higher upper class, and that's not, those who don't pay taxes, that's not how they live. And that's, there's a
Yeah.
lot of that. But I think that's a mind control thing, that, and they use the media, which talks about a lot and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of sad, but I
It
guess it's
is
not
what it is. We can't solve it alone. Let's start a revolution.
I mean, yeah.
One day. I don't know.
I think TikTok will start. I think Gen Z. I believe in Gen Z.
I think so. I mean, we're so connected now that there's nothing that can't be discussed at length, which I think helps, because all these issues, like even you and I talking, having this conversation, people are watching, like, maybe one little thing sparks something. Now they're talking to someone else. That wasn't possible before. You only had a limited amount of people around you. So now you can think about all these things all the time, and maybe it does lead to faster change, hopefully.
Yeah. Kelly says ignorance is bliss, and I totally agree. All right, I'm gonna have to go because we're going
gotta
30
study.
minutes over time. And I have an exam tomorrow. So everybody just cross your fingers for me.
Woo, good luck.
Thank you.
You do
All right.
great.
Well, we'll catch you next Thursday at the same time. So 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. UK, 8 p.m. Romania time. But I doubt that there's anyone from Romania right
You
now
never know.
watching. But if you are from Romania, it will be 8 p.m. on Thursday.
Perfect.
So yeah.
Your
Okay.
exam, what is it?
You can't. I'm afraid that would be called fraud. But
We don't
thank
do
you for
fraud on this
offering.
channel. Cool.
Thank
Thank you, everybody.
Andrea.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. This is
Woo.
lovely.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Everyone.
See ya.